Hello. So today is the first lecture of mechanics of solid, in which we are studying first of all force and force systems. So in the introduction, first of all, what is the mechanics? Mechanics definition is, it may be defined as the branch of applied science that deals with the description and prediction of the condition of rest or motion of bodies under the action of forces. That means when the force is applied on a body, it will try to change, or it will change the state of a body, that is either the body is in rest or in motion. Next is the units can be defined as the entities that helps in carrying out measurements. For example, length and mass. So for the length, let us say unit is meter, centimeter or kilometer, like that, and the mass, unit of mass is kilogram, grams, like that. Next is the system of units. So there are different systems. First is FPS system, that is foot, pound and second. So whatever is a length unit, that is measured in foot, then the mass unit is measured in pound, and the time is measured in second. Next system is CGS, that is centimeter, gram and second. Then third is MKS, meter, kilogram and second. And the fourth is SI system international, which is adopted by all the countries. In this system international units, in this table it is given category, name and abbreviation. For the length, meter is used and abbreviation is m, small m. Then the mass, it is measured in the kilogram, abbreviation is kg. Then the time, it is in second, s. Then electric current is measured in ampere, abbreviation is capital A. Temperature is measured in Kelvin and abbreviation is capital K. Some important definitions are, first of all, the space. Space is a region in all directions and contains everything within. We are considering three-dimensional problems, in which space means it may contain sun and planets also. So space is including everything within. Next is the time. It is a measure of duration between successive events. Then particle, it is an idealized body which may have negligible mass and whose size and shape can be ignored without any appreciable error in the description and prediction of its state of rest or motion. So it is a very smaller particle. Next is the rigid body. It is an idealized body composed of a large number of particles, all of which always remain at fixed distance from one another. Over here I want to say that there are two types of bodies. One is called the rigid body and second is deformable bodies. In the rigid body, it is written that the distance always remain fixed from one another. So if you consider any two particles, and when the force is applied on the body, then this relative distance between two particles will remain the same after the application of the load, and that's why it is called as the rigid body. And if size and shape of the body is changing when the force is applied, then it is called a deformable body. Next is force. The definition of force is, a force is any effect that may change the state of rest or motion of a body. It represents the action of one body on another. The characteristics of the force, first is the magnitude. The magnitude indicates the value of the force. For example, let us say 50 Newton force. So 50 is called the magnitude of the force. Number 2 is the direction, that indicates the angle of force. For example, force acting in north direction or force acting at, let us say, 30 degree clockwise from the north direction. Third one is point of application, which indicates the position and location at which the force is applied. Force is a vector quantity and it is represented by an arrow as shown over here. Now when the force is applied on a body, the body will move in the direction of the force if it is not restrained in that direction. The representation of forces. So over here, when force is shown, the point from which the force starts, it is called the tail, and ends, it is called head, and this line in which this force is lying is called line of action of the force. If this is the vector A, then in opposite direction it is a negative component of this vector A. In the types of forces, there are different types of forces. Number one is the gravitational force, which is exerted by earth on a body. Number two is action and reaction. When one body exerts force, that is called action, on other body, the other body exerts similar force, that is called the reaction, on the former body. So these are the action and reaction. Then number three is the friction, which is the force developed between two bodies because of their surface irregularity. Number four is hydrostatic force. It is exerted by water on a body. Then the wind force, it is exerted by the wind on the body. Next is cohesion and adhesion. When the attractive force developed between two bodies of similar properties, it is called cohesion, and if the same attractive force developed between two bodies of different properties, then it is called adhesion. Number 7 is electric and magnetic force. These forces developed between two electrically or magnetically charged bodies. And last one is thermal forces, forces developed due to heating and cooling of the bodies. They are known as thermal forces. Next is the force system. There can be many forces acting on a particle or rigid body. Together they are known as force system. So when more than one forces are acting on body, then they are form the system of forces. So in this force system classification, it is given two parts, that is coplanar and non-coplanar or special forces. In the coplanar, there may be collinear, concurrent, parallel and general force system. In parallel, like and unlike forces. In non-coplanar forces, again there will be concurrent, parallel and general force system. We will take one by one. So first is coplanar forces. When all the forces act in one particular plane, then it is called coplanar force system. Then the collinear force system. When line of action of all the forces is same or all the forces acting along one line, then it is called collinear forces. Next is concurrent forces. When all the forces are acting at one particular point only, then it is called concurrent force system. Then the combination of this is coplanar concurrent forces. That means all the forces are in one plane and they are acting at one particular point. It is given in this figure. This is particularly coplanar concurrent force system. Then the coplanar non-concurrent force system. So all the forces are in one plane, but they are not acting at one particular point. They are acting at different points. Next is non-coplanar concurrent forces. So all the forces are not in one plane, but they are acting at one particular point. Let us say there are three forces along x, y and z direction. Then they are acting at origin O. Then we can say that it is non-coplanar concurrent force system. Then last one is non-coplanar non-concurrent forces. So they are not in one plane and they are not acting at one particular point. Then the few terms related to force system. First is the free body diagram. We are writing FBD. It is a simplified graphic representation of a body, mechanism or particle that is isolated from its surroundings and on which all applied forces are shown. It is called free body diagram. We will discuss this afterwards. Then the resultant of a system of forces on a particle is the single force which has the same effect as the system of forces. So whatever is the effect due to the system of forces that can be shown by only one single force, it is called the resultant force. And next is equilibrant, which is having same magnitude of the resultant but direction is opposite to the resultant. So equilibrium of a system of forces on a particle is the force having same magnitude but acting in opposite direction of the resultant. Then the equilibrium equations. The condition of equilibrium, first of all, the resultant of a force system must be 0 if the force system is to be in equilibrium. We can see this figure which is shown, the first figure. When the W1 L1 and W2 L2 it is given, when W1 is equal to W2 and L1 is equal to L2, at that time there will be equilibrium. The algebraic sum of all forces or component of forces along any axis must be equal to 0 for the equilibrium. The algebraic sum of the moments of forces about any axis or point must be equal to 0. So in two dimensional case we can consider sigma fx is equal to 0, that is summation of forces in x direction is equal to 0, and sigma fy is equal to 0, that is summation of forces in y direction is equal to 0, and summation of moments is equal to 0. If there is no any equilibrium, then it is given in the second figure, there is unbalance. So if let us say W1 is greater than W2 and L1 is equal to L2, then there will be unbalance. Equilibrium of force system, in which collinear force system is shown. If we assume that all the forces are along the horizontal axis, then summation of fx is equal to 0. Over here all these forces, we can see from the figure that the rope is pulled by these 4 persons and it is in horizontal direction only. So over here all the forces are acting in x axis, or you can say horizontal axis, and over here in the second figure it is given the detail of rope, that is collinear forces. So if F1 and F2, addition of these two forces, is equal to F3 and F4, that means this system will be in equilibrium. Equilibrium of force system. Over here concurrent force system is shown. Since the line of action of all the forces intersect at one particular point, over here in the figure you can see the forces acting due to this load applied at C point, force in rope AC, force in rope BC and rope CD will be acting at one particular point C, and that's why it is concurrent force system. This system cannot cause rotation of the body on which it acts. Therefore only two equations of equilibrium are sufficient for analyzing this type of force system, which are summation of fx is equal to 0 and summation of fy is equal to 0. For the non-concurrent coplanar force system, we can consider the third condition, that is summation of m is equal to 0 also. The force diagram for the concurrent force system at C is shown over here. This W is acting in downward direction, that is gravitational. Then force in rope AC, it is shown over here as it is the tensile force, so it is away from the C point, and again force in BC, FBC, is a tensile force. Now the rectangular components. For two-dimensional force system, if there is one force F acting at angle theta with respect to x-axis, then there will be two components of these forces. First is in the x direction and second is y direction. So it is denoted by fx and fy. So this fx is equal to f multiplied by cos theta and fy is equal to f multiplied by sin theta. This scalar component can be positive or negative. For positive and negative, we are assuming some sign conventions. Let us say that for forces in x direction, right hand side force acting is positive and left hand side is negative. Similarly, for force in y direction, upward force is positive and downward force is negative. Next is the laws to find the resultant. First is law of parallelogram of forces. If two forces are acting simultaneously on a particle and are represented in magnitude and direction by two adjacent sides of parallelogram, then the diagonal passing through the point of intersection of these forces represents the resultant of above forces in magnitude and direction. We can see the figure. Let us say at this particular point force P and force Q are acting. They are represented in magnitude and direction, means if this P force is having 10 Newton and our scale is 1 centimeter equal to 10 Newton, then this line is drawn of 1 centimeter. If the Q is having magnitude 20 Newton, then according to our scale this will be 2 centimeters. So it is called in magnitude, and whatever is direction, the Q force is acting horizontally and P force is inclined to this Q force. Now this P and Q forces are represented as two adjacent sides of parallelogram. So now if we complete this parallelogram, then there will be two diagonals. One will be from this point to this point, and second is from the intersection of this P and Q force. So whatever is the diagonal, this passing through the intersection of these two forces, so this will give the resultant force in magnitude and direction. So graphically if we just measure this length of this R, then we will get according to our scale what is the magnitude of the resultant force. Next is law of triangle of forces. If two forces are acting simultaneously on a particle and are represented in magnitude and direction by two sides of a triangle taken in order, then the third side or the closing side of a triangle drawn in opposite order represents the resultant of above two forces in magnitude and direction. Over here this word is very important, that is taken in order. So first force, that is Q force, is starting from this point and ending over here. So second force, P force, is start at a point where this Q force ends. So it is called taken in order. So Q force is starting at this point, ending over here. So P force will start at the end point of the Q point, and it is